Hi, it's Ryan from Knights Around the Table. Agricola is a strategic board game from 2007 by renowned board game developer Uwe Rosenberg. Let's find the fun. Fun! The variability. Certain action spaces come out during different seasons, so you're never too sure which one's going to come out next, so it keeps you on your toes when you're planning your strategy. That, and everybody starts with a different hand of minor improvement cards and occupation cards, and your hand is probably going to be different than your neighbor's hand. Not fun! The theme. 17th century subsistence farmers recovering from the plague of 1348? Does this game know how to party? Not fun. The name. Agricola is the Latin word for farmer, and if you're one of the 100% of people in the world who doesn't speak Latin as a native language, you would be forgiven for looking at it and thinking, oh, well, it's kind of like agriculture, a word I know, and the word cola, it's like Coke. So, Agricola. I'm going to play the game called Agricola. No, it's Agricola, and it's kind of lame that you can go around a conference mispronouncing it when everybody's secretly thinking that you're dumb. Not fun. The pressure. The whole thrust of the game is that you've got a little farming family, and every single year harvest is coming, and you have to make sure that you have enough food in order to feed them all, or you have to go begging. Does that sound like a good time to you? Because it sounds to me, as a father of two, like real life. Fun. The pressure. I have rarely played a board game that is as exciting as Agricola in sort of that stomach churning, knot twisting in your gut kind of sense, where you need to squeak out a couple of more resources or do this thing over here or that thing over there, and you don't know if it's all going to come together by the end of the game. It's thrilling, and for those of you who like what I call frustration, frustrating fun, Agricola is perfecto. Fun, the competition. So this is one of those games where you have your whole strategy lined up, it's all going beautifully, you just need to place your farmer there, and it all comes together, and then somebody takes that space. And then you see 6 moves ahead, your whole plan come crashing down like a house of cards, and you have to cook up something new. So it's one of those games where you actually have to keep 2 or 3 strategies in your head all at the same time because other players might mess you up. Does that sound like a good time to you? Maybe. Not fun. Losing points. In Agricola, there's a big pile of stuff that you can do, and you don't have the option to not do some of it. At the end of the game, you tally up everything you have, and if you're missing stuff in certain categories, you lose points. I don't know if I like the threat of losing points in a board game so much as I like the promise of getting points. Fun. Risk versus reward. Now, this is a key component of game design, and it means that the more risk you take, the more you stand to gain or lose. In Agricola, you can actually have another family member join your household, but then you get another turn, but you have to feed that other family member. So there's this real balance, like, do I push it? Do I add that family member and take on the additional risk, or do I hang back and take fewer turns? It's a really interesting balance, and it's quite fun. Not fun. Farming. You would think that in a game about farming, oh, I'll just grow some vegetables and farm and feed my family. But growing vegetables in this game is one of the most challenging tasks I've seen in any game. First, you have to get the vegetable, then a separate turn to sow your field and plant the vegetable, and then you have to wait a whole year in order to harvest the vegetable, and then you could add an improvement to your farm in order to cook the vegetable, so it's not just dad sitting in the background chomping on a carrot. Not fun. The artwork. Clemens Franz is an illustrator who's done work on a lot of Uwe Rosenberg games, including La Havre, or Labora, Caverna the Cave Farmers, and his people, I mean, I'm fine with his sets and his landscapes, but his people are not well drawn. This stuff is amateurish at best. And it blows my mind that he's the illustrator on some of the biggest, most well-known and best-selling board games available right now. Fun! And meeples. It's refreshing to play a game where not all of the components are barrels of crude oil and lumps of stone, although, you get some of those too. It's fun just to have meeples that you can play with and make them cuddle each other. Not fun. The new version doesn't support 5 players. I have an older version by Z-Man Games, and the newest version that's out, you have to buy an extension in order to get a 5 or 6 player game out of it. How to mitigate that? Maybe the 5 to 6 player game isn't really that great an experience, and so that's why they chose to cut it. They did upgrade the little wood tokens in the game. I remember buying a whole other box called the Goodies that had these upgraded tokens in them. So you do get that, and you get upgraded farmer tokens, though some people prefer the discs. And you get fewer cards in the new version, but some people are saying that the cards are better balanced than in the original game. It just seems like the quality in the components of games shouldn't go down the longer the game is out and the more popular it becomes. I remember buying a copy of Battleship for my kids, and I was disappointed to learn that it's no longer 2 separate player screens anymore. Both players share a single backing in the middle of the game. Come on, what's up with that? So let's find the fun in Agricola, where fun is represented by silly string and not fun is represented by serious string. It's fun! But it's that specific kind of fun that turns knots in your stomach and makes you nervous. If you want a deep strategy game that takes a really long time to play and is very competitive, Agricola is a great pick. If you want something that takes even longer and is even more competitive, try farming. Did you just watch that whole thing? Oh, hey, to 100% this video, click the badge to subscribe and then click the bell to get notifications when I've got new stuff.